Good afternoon. Today we will be talking about the employment potential that is being generated because of the greener push that Indian economy is presently facing. The idea is that the government is trying to develop new sectors such as solar, wind, and other renewable energy sectors, as well as sort of recalibrate the existing sectors such that they are greener going into the future. Greener in the sense that their carbon footprint should be lower, the sustainability should be better, so on and so forth. Now, if we want to make our sectors greener, we need to make the workforce also recalibrated to the extent that it is able to fit into those green sectors. Here are some numbers that I think that are very important from the exam point of view. Between 2011 and 14, the photovoltaic sector in India has generated 24,000 full-time employments, FTE, that is the word. So now that is only up till now. So going ahead, you know that by 2022 we have set in place targets of 100 gigawatts of solar energy. So by the time we are achieving those targets, we'll be generating probably a million more jobs directly related to solar. Similarly, wind has generated 45,000 job FTEs up till now. Going ahead, the target is 60 gigawatts. So we are expecting at least 1,80,000 more jobs in the wind sector. Biofuels, so we have recently come out with the national biofuel policy wherein it is the government's stated intention that they want to increase the uptake of bioethanol up to 20% in India. Now, at present, we are working at approximately 2.5 to 3% on an average. By the time we are going up to, let us say, 20%, will be generating huge amount of employment in that. Similarly, biogas. So what I'm trying to say is that there is huge amount of jobs. There are huge amount of jobs which are going to be get created in new sectors, right? So what is the government of India doing to sort of take care of the skilling requirement, training requirement, so that our workforce is ready to fit into these sectors? So we have put into place the Green Skill Development Program. So now this Green Skill Development Program has basically been masterminded by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in association with National Skill Development Corporation. So we know that Skill India is the general thrust of the present government, taking into consideration the changing needs of the job market. Taking into consideration the fact that new jobs are going to get created, we have put in place this special component called GSDP. So the benefits are pretty obvious to the extent that it will help me be employable, as well as it will help the entire country achieve the sustainable development goals, as well as meet the national determined contribution that India has sort of promised while signing the Paris Agreement. We are going to reduce the carbon footprint of our GDP, right? So we have also put into place national biodiversity targets. So taking all these new challenges into consideration, it is a matter of huge opportunity for the entire workforce to sort of get calibrated to that extent. Targets that have been put into place are pretty realistic target: 80,000 jobs, 80,000 skillings in 1819, 2.25 in 1920, and by 2021 we are looking at 5 lakh skillings per annum. So now that is considerable employment opportunity, and all these skilling certifications, all these courses will be NSQF compliant. So around I think in the last prelims, or in the last to last prelims, they had a question on this, the National Skill Qualification Framework. So the certificate will be pretty good to that extent. Here are some of the sectors that we will be covering so far as this GSDP is concerned, whether that be pollution monitoring. So pollution is a huge deal: air pollution, water pollution, groundwater pollution. So that's a huge deal in India. So we have put into place monitoring stations and centers and networks. So those monitoring stations need to be manned. Similarly, we have this sewage treatment plants, effluent treatment plants, as well as common effluent treatment plant. So that's again a huge deal. Going ahead with increasing urbanization and increasing industrialization, you will see a lot more effluent getting discharged, and that effluent needs to be treated, not just dumped into any river or pond or lake. So that has to be treated. Those plants, those massive plants need to be run. So that's again a huge thing. Again, we have put into place, or rather we have come out at least with the draft national forest policy, which is talking about taking India's forest cover up to the required level of 33%. Within that, there are going to be challenges of wildlife management, so forest management, wildlife management, as well as mangrove management. These are the new areas, and of course we discussed some numbers related to the renewable energy sector. So this is where the thrust of the GSDP is going to be. Now, why am I discussing this with you? Most recently, in August 2018, Government of India, rather the Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change, and this National Skill Development Corporation, they have got together for training of 1 lakh refrigeration and air conditioning sector employees. So now we need to understand the importance of this both from the point of view of climate as well as from the point of view of economy, right? So we know that as the standards of living increase, as the income of people increases, people are going to buy and more air conditioners and refrigerators. Now the biggest problem with these RACs is that they use coolants which are probably having ozone depletion potential as well as having massive greenhouse sort of warming potential. So now these chemicals, these refrigerants are extremely dangerous from the point of view of environment. So back in 78, we had put into place this Montreal Protocol for phasing out of ozone depletion substances. And within that, India has this HCFC phase out plan. So now we need to sort of phase out these ozone depleting substances and we need to get into place newer refrigerants. Now those newer refrigerants, they are not easy to handle. They are flammable as well as toxic. So if I am an informal sector worker and most of these RAC workers, 2 lakh RAC workers in India, they are mostly informal, uneducated. So if I am an informal and an uneducated worker, in spite of the fact that I may have had some prior informal skill training, I am not really equipped to handle these new chemicals. So not only is it a safety hazard, but let us say that if I botch up my job, if I don't do it well, the entire refrigerator or the entire AC will malfunction or underperform, as a result of which the energy efficiency will be lost. Many a times leakages happen. So the figure goes that approximately 50% of usage is because of leakage of this ODS. So that ODS, or rather ozone depleting substance, gets leaked into the environment. So now that's a huge minus so far as the environment is concerned. So taking all these factors into consideration, they have put into place this framework or this agreement to sort of retrain and upskill 1 lakh RAC workmen or workwomen. So now it will not only benefit me as a worker, it will benefit to the economy, it will benefit to the environment. And going ahead, the challenges because of these refrigerants and ACs are only going to increase as we have discussed, urbanization as well as industrialization, so on and so forth. So taking this entire picture into consideration, what I see is that in general studies paper 3, everything is interlinked. There is this skill development component, there is this economic component, there is this environment component, right? There is this, taking the, and of course, it is also a part of the government of India's policy. So my point is that keep an open eye on this, and whenever you're talking about employment or employment generation, so don't just talk about the traditional aspect, also talk about these non-traditional aspects. This is very hot, very new, and it will fetch you good marks. Thank you very much. Have a great day.